and then went, oh. Sorry for being a minute late to the actual probably almost anybody, nobody here, which is all the way it works. So I'm cool with that. As long as you're cool with that, then that'll work. Happy Tuesday, September the 6th, 2022. To those that are watching under the recording, or if you're live. Again, as I always say, the fun thing about live is a lot of it gets consumed after it's already recorded. So during a live, when kind of nobody is in here, you're kind of waiting, but also you want to make it compelling at the beginning, like right now. I'm not saying this is compelling. What I'm saying is live plus recorded is an interesting thing, but it actually brings me to a great content thing. One of the things I love, and I should probably mention the soundtrack by Aiden Taylor. Oh, it's clashing on my shirt. There you go. By the young man who's the oldest of the next generation in this household, Aiden, who's at work right now. I hope you're working. Ingrid, as always, it's wonderful to see you again. So one of the things about content, though, that I've noticed is that, like, especially like podcasts. So I watch a lot of, or used to watch like sports podcasts and stuff. I love the NBA, love the NFL and baseball, and I haven't been into hockey in a long time, but I know I'll lose my citizenship in Canada. But one of the things you notice, like the Pat McAfee show or even Rich Eisen show, and a lot of them, and a lot of even other podcasts do this, where they go live. And there's a bonus to it, because you can record a show like this. You can record a podcast or whatever it's going to be live. There's extra pressure on it, because also you want to see if you add people in and to say hello, and you want to be able to bring them in, and hello to you, Jason, that you get the live impact. So your viewers who are able to go online at this time, you get that exclusive live type of thing, and they may be able to comment if you allow that. But then it just creates content and multiple things of content. I know Gary V's always big on this as well, that one piece turns into incredible multiple pieces of content. So you have a couple of things. You have the recording of the video. So you have the live video that brings people in. You have the recorded video that people can still watch on all platforms that it gets broadcast out to. Like when I'm done this live, it turns into a video, like just to watch. Then you have the audio for the podcast itself to go out to podcast listeners. And then you have the ability to clip it and use video clips, use it especially through YouTube, etc. So you have, that's just 4 right there. Throw in a transcription or somebody doing a little write-up of it, that's 5. That's certainly a keyword-rich transcript potentially that goes on your site. That's what we used to do for the show as well. We'd have it all kind of laid out and transcribed on the site itself, plus closed captioned as well. So I dig that. I dig doing something, especially when it's your thing. So especially when it's whatever you feel most natural doing, going with your grain. We almost went with that for a book. Go with your grain. When it becomes, do you like to write? Do you like to talk, just audio? Do you like video? Do you like doing live? And for me, one of the things I thought I would become, either when I was young, a veterinarian, a speaker, or a game show host. So when I found out, when I was young, at 12 or 13, I found out veterinarians had to put animals down. Both, that was out. Didn't want to do that anymore. And then it was like game show host of this. So you kind of have your own show right here, right now. And then people can pop in at any time, like, Paula, what's up? I'm glad. This keeps me on my toes a bit. This keeps me moving. And let's talk about some gigs. What a great ending. Perfectly timed, the ending of the song for that. I didn't try. So I've had a few gigs in the past few weeks or month. And, it's still kind of, industry is slowly kind of coming back, or whatever form it's going to be. And every gig so far has just been so good to me. I can't speak for the audience. I can't speak for the client. I can't speak for any of those things. I can speak to how my experience was. And I'm looking at as a speaker where I come in. And it's an interesting thing being a keynote speaker for conferences, as opposed to the other things I've done before, if it's training or it's workshops or breakouts or any of those type of things. So when you're the keynote, they treat you so ridiculously well usually. And the event is my client, not the other way around. So it's like I get treated like royalty at a lot of events, and I'm like, you're paying me. And they're and I've just had these so many in a row. Like I'm on a hitting streak. And I just got back from an event here. And hello, Chris. Very glad to find that this is your live show area, Scott, and loving that you're talking about it's Analog or the Evolution podcast. We happen to find the podcast sad that ended. Yeah, it's on hiatus for 2.5 years now. We don't close the door on it if we want to open it up again. So, and we'll look at that. But this is certainly my outlet for the time being. So I'm going to talk to you about an event I just did. It was the Jack Henry event in a beautiful San Diego. Scholars say I'm not going to do the line. It's old wooden ship. That's a different part of Anchorman. I'm screwing it up. No, it was lost in translation. No, I think it means San Diego. So go to San Diego. Shout out to Brant and the Black Sheep. Find your Black Sheep, Brant Mensor. What's up, man? So it's an event, and a wonderful human, LGO, as I know her, but Laura Gassner-Otting recommended me for the event. She was doing the keynote the day before. The 2 days before she opened. I believe she opened, and I'm not positive. There was a fourth speaker. I just don't know the person. And then the awesome Carrie Lawrence was the day before, and then I got to hit the stage. It's so cool when you know kind of the other keynotes as well. And then I do the event, and I get to the event, and it's not only awesome in the harbor, but the audience was stoked. So this audience was a combination of audiences you don't get together. It was credit unions and banks. They don't usually kind of, gel. And the audience was mixed. I think it was about 2,000 in the audience and 1,000 on the live stream. And this audience was jacked. They were ready to go, and they were awesome. I spoke on the last day, and it's still a drag. Like it's any conference, right? You've been away. It's intense. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of schmoozing, even for a extrovert, or now at this point, a semi-extrovert like myself. And they were phenomenal. The audience was phenomenal. And it comes down to also the event itself. Let me give a shout out here. Oh, that's Vinay. Vinay's next. I'm sorry, Vinay. You're coming up. So like this is Justin from Jack Henry. If you want, you can always take a photo of this. Justin was my, how do we say, the person who ran, the handler of the speakers. He was in charge of getting the speakers and taking care of them all. And I love you, Justin. You're phenomenal. That was great. It's just, a lot of events, a lot of people who run them too, it's just, it's a lot. Running events is a lot. I have the easy job, to me. I show up like a Vegas DJ, and I'm like, hey, make me look and sound pretty, and that's it. These all here are crazy, hard things to do. There's 1,000 things going on at once, and Justin was incredible from start to finish. I even forgot, I couldn't find my dongle and USB key for my laptop. No problem. Boom, they're good to go. And they were phenomenal. Had a great chat with them before going on. Wonderful. So it was great, Justin. And it's also, I know this is Justin's like one of the, you're kind of just on that. This is the first time you handled the keynotes and the speakers, and you handle it like a vet. It was great. I appreciate you, Justin, for what you did at that event, and Laura as well, and Carrie. I appreciate that. It was incredible. Makes my job even better in what I do. And Chris, yeah, I worked in credit unions before libraries and freaking love Jack Henry, right? It's just like, credit unions and libraries are just like my people. And to put them together was great. And one of the main points I made at that talk was, because I was addressing kind of community. And the main point I made about community was that if you are a community-based business, so you're a bank, you're a credit union, you're literally local, then your community is within your employees. Like, we talk about, how do we help the community? Why do we sponsor a soccer team? Do we do a one-day event at the park or whatever that is? No. Yes, do those things. Please don't pull any funding from the kids' soccer or anything else. I'm not saying take that away. But what I'm saying is the key to your community is internal. That two ways. Your employees are the community. They are not exempt from it. They also have the pulse of it, as do you if you live in it. But the causes and the concerns and everything else really should filter through them. A community discussion. And the other side of that too is not just your people, but what you allow your employees to do. What you allow your employees to do, because community in the financial world is very different. And when I say community for a credit union or a bank in a community, what I mean is financially, how do you help the community? Individually, meaning, do we allow a line of credit for a new business or a small business? Do you allow mortgages to entrepreneurs? Like all these type of things. That's what I'm talking about. That community is also your policies and procedures. You can't tell me you're a community-based bank or credit union when the small businesses around town know that you're not the bank to go to. My bank here that I've been 30 years. Our mortgage broker Harrison would not even try to get us a mortgage with our own bank, and it's known in the industry. Well, it's not community then. Community isn't cookies necessarily. Community isn't one day, a year. Community is 365 and 366 if there's a leap year. That's how we feel. Brian made it, man. I owe you a live duo. You got to come on. I think I put it out there and then just dropped the ball, which I'm good at. We got to talk pop chat. Brian is the creator of Pop Chat, killer Twitter chat, great newsletter, great content. And we got to chat one of these days because, somebody who has got my affinity for not only boy bands, but just music, I am ready to talk. I'm ready to go deep into this stuff. Like I'm talking S Club 7. I'm talking LFO. I'm talking Menudo. Let's go On Vogue. Let's go Girl. And obviously Backstreet NSYNC. New Kids, NKOTB, BSB, NSYNC. I guess you can't acronym NSYNC. It's got its own acronym. Love it. That's what I love talking about because it's just, I don't want to talk about LFO. I'm going to be honest with you. That's one of the only ones I don't like. It's just getting to me. I'm headed to Nashville to see Backstreet Boys. So I have seen Metallica 4 or 5 times in concert, Guns N' Roses 4 times, Pantera 4 times, Skid Row 3 times, Megadeth 3 times. Top 5 concerts within there. I don't have an exact ranking. Oh, GNR Metallica's right up there. But BSB and KOTB in Vegas was one of my best concerts I've ever been to. It was at Mandalay Bay. And Allison and I walk in, and I'm always, wanting to time it. So my brother's still in the music business. I used to be in it, and I ask, I don't want to show up crazy early to a concert. I don't usually want to even see the opener. I'm just turned into that guy. So I want to come in like right before they come on. And so I looked at the time and everything else. We figured out our timing. We head down to Mandalay Bay, and as we're coming, we hear Coldplay. Like we hear Coldplay, and we're like, what? And we walk in. The show's starting. And they're doing a cover of Coldplay. And they're at opposite ends of the arena. But there was and then they did a battle of songs. And they just met in the middle on these risers that moved. And then they just did one song. What? Now the show I did see, I don't think Kevin was there. Kevin was off adulting, so I don't know. I can't remember now. I know Jordan was right up in front of us. That was awesome. I got a picture of him. But yeah, what a show. I love shows. You know what I mean? Like, I know going live to, like, especially when I was in like 17, 18, 19, it was just, you were just there. But I like a show. I like a performance. I love production. Did you see the Rammstein production of their tour? They're doing a full arena tour in the States. First of all, I have no idea they were this big. Like, I know Du Hast, and that's it. And good on you. The production looks banana cakes. I want to go to a Rammstein show. I haven't gone to Slipknot. I love the performances. And some of the best performances I ever saw was Backstreet Boys' New Kids on the Block. Pink in Toronto was ridiculous. It was the song that came out from the guy from Fun, and the duo. Just Give Me a Reason. Nate, what's his name? Mind-blowing. It was so good. Yeah, I know they were here last week. I do know we're in the touring. Thank you. There we go. They're so great. Love them. Love them all. I also want to talk about, obviously, Marky Mark, and if we want, his Funky Bunch as well. There's Andrew there. Ooh, Andrew, I almost grabbed your mug today. I'm sorry. That would have been great if I just had your mug. But Black Sheep won over, so I'm sorry. But I have 2 of your mugs. I don't know how, but I do have 2. Yeah, and exactly. You can hear the Rammstein show for miles around. It looks incredible. Like, I'm going to find a picture of it. Hang on a second. I'm going to find you a picture right now of this show. It's insane. Let's see if I can find it here. All right. Like, these guys are insane. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna show you this right now. Let me pull this up here. Come on. Where's the? All right, I'm gonna pull up their thing here. No, I don't want that. I'll find it. I know how to work the internet. Is that a good one? Yeah, that's a good one. Sorry, this is not. It's not exactly what you're looking for here. All right, look. This one. What is happening? This is insane. I know you're not seeing it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to download it, and there we go. All right. Look at this. Just look at that. And that's not even half of it. The frickin' fireworks, like fire across these wires and stuff across the crowd. And what is their pyro budget for that? That's incredible. Incredible. And that's what I said. I love performance. That's why I've seen like Cirque shows so many. I've seen Ka 5 times in Vegas. I've seen 5 times. I've seen Mystere 3 times. I've seen Michael Jackson 4 times. It's like, it's just a spectacle of ridiculousness, and I love it. All right, next person about events. This is Vinay. And Vinay is also amazing. Why can't I? There we go. I'm going to move this down. It's not exactly a professional show. I think I'm going to call the show unprofessional. We'll just go from there. So Vinay here is from Lexus. And the VP of marketing at Lexus. And the funny thing about VPs at, kind of legacy brands, luxury brands, we don't always get along. We wrote UnMarketing, like, against a lot of classical kind of marketing. And so I do I do 5 Lexus events in Texas. I got to do 5 in a matter of just under 3 weeks. And one of the things I talked about and Lexus and why I love their marketing was their sponsorship of 100 Thieves, which is the e-gaming team that my son's favorite team. Owen, and he got me into it. So we watched it together on Twitch and stuff. And I mentioned it, how brilliant it was, because most luxury brands will stay away from that type of stuff because it's such a newer, it's been around for a while, but a newer platform, and brands always wait for other brands to take the leap. And Lexus just got in there perfectly at the right time. And Vinay heard at one of my talks that 100 Thieves were favorite stuff of my son and I. And we got a package last week to the point that I actually phoned him when we received it. Like his card was in there, and I called it. I've never called somebody's card. I just emailed them, put him on LinkedIn, and I called him to say thank you. He's multiple shirts plus a 100 Thieves jersey with Owen's last name on the back of it. So freaking cool of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Vinay, for that and the conversation. It was very cool of you. You seen U2 and Coldplay, Scott? I have not. I have not seen them. Tim, Mixon or Camara, full PPR. So one, I don't do PPR. We just do non-PPR. But so usually it would be, Camara is a PPR beast. I've had Mixon on my team every other year since he came into the draft. I have him every good year he has, and his down years I don't. So, and I had Mixon last year. So I don't know. I love Mixon. I really do. I'd put him anytime. Brienne wants to talk about, can we talk about the Woodstock 99 because I just watched the documentary. So the thing here is, yes. And before the documentary came out, I listened to a podcast series. I actually paid for Luminary. I think it was Luminary Podcast. I think. It might be a different one. But anyways, because they had a series on it, and it was brilliant. I recommend listening to that if you prefer to listen to a podcast and watch the series. But yeah. Ooh, that Limp Bizkit ending too. Just crazy. Yeah, nuts. People think they can just throw a festival. Mm-hmm. No, not really. And then I'm headed to do a keynote at the National Auto Auctioneers Association. I'm telling you, what I get to do for a living is incredible and ridiculous and wonderful. Like, I get to go to all these different things. Just think about my past few gigs. Like, I just spoke to the Jack Henry event. What's up, Jack Henry, again? And that was credit unions and banks. And that's fintech kind of world. Before that, I'm at the Best Friends Animal Shelter Conference, which is just my people. I adore them. I got to do Lexus, 5 gigs, same spot. And then 100 Thieves hook up. Ridiculous. Shout out to the whole Lexus team there as well. And shout out to Nell at the Jack Henry event as well, because Nell was awesome directing traffic back there. And we always got to act like Nell. And I got to go to the auto auctioneers one now. Like, it's just so cool. And the trade shows are always different. And I usually get to walk the trade show depending on the event. And I love it. It's just so cool. So freaking cool. I get to do this still. I'm still doing this. It's just amazing. Brian says, have you updated your keynote material from picking on millennials to picking on Gen Z or Z as it is here? There's a lot to work with there too. Oh yeah. So now I just bundle it in. So with that bit in the middle of the talk, which is like my millennial rant, which I flip halfway through it. Now I open with, something about, I'm like, I heard somebody say millennials, and then I'm like, they're 37, and I yell that. And then we talk about Gen Z. Yeah. So it's just a bridge, because that proves my point partially too, because it's not about millennials or Gen Z or this, or it's just younger people. It's always just younger people. And we just download crap onto them. So yeah, I have switched it up towards Gen Z a little bit more now. But it depends on the event and the day. Like, you kind of just go with the audience for me. And if a riff or a rant is working, I kind of keep running on it for a bit. And if it's not landing for whatever reason, I just keep going the slide direction that I've got. And it usually, not always, helps out the event or the talk. So it makes me very happy. I got notes here for another one, which is I'm doing Orange Theory as well. I'm doing Orange Theory's event at the end of the month. which will be awesome. Both Orange Theory and I think this one, the Automobile Auctioneers Association, were gigs from a while ago. And we're talking years, and they've been bumped and bumped and bumped. So I'm really happy to be able to get down there and say, hey, very cool. Very cool. Very fun. Yeah, and I got my our pool tonight. We just moved to the Sleeper app from ESPN. And obviously the older people in the pool, some of them are just like, what are we doing? And the youngins are just like, yeah. So that's my contribution to the youngins of the world. All right. Wow, I worked at OTF Corporate. That's how I met you at the Emma conference. Well, there you go. Oh, the Emma conference, Marketing United. I loved that event. That was so much fun. So much fun. Yeah, it was great. Love Marketing United. They put on such a good event. And a lot of those marketing ones, too, that do it right, you know, don't hire somebody like me a lot of the times. Because I'm a storyteller. Right? I'm not a practitioner at this point. I'm not in the weeds of doing things. And I've pulled away from a lot of stuff. I deleted Facebook a year and a half ago. I'm not using a lot of the stuff. So it's like my immediate real-time stuff isn't as there. I tell stories, so it's really cool. And yeah, it is weird going to Nashville, not going to Marketing United. It seemed like just the thing to do. But Nashville is just, it's a good case study if you ever want to look at certain case studies of cities kind of shifting things. And Nashville is a great example of that. Nashville has become one of the conference destinations that they weren't before. They didn't have the right infrastructure for it. And I don't mean like the airport and stuff. I mean the hotels. The convention center, which is gorgeous. They finally built like the Omni and stuff, got there. Now they have the ability kind of to host that sweet spot of conferences. Whether that's, usually a sweet spot, it can be 2,000 to 5,000, but they can hold much more in that convention center. But also they've just become the bachelorette party capital of the States, maybe North America, and took it away from Vegas. Now, mind you, I am also speaking out of my arse right now because I don't have researched recently the bachelorette market of anything. But it just seems that it's just brilliant ways to do it. And Nashville markets itself much better, I found, to women than Vegas. And it's just a different setup now. And I just think it's brilliant. I love Broadway there. I love the food there is incredible. It's just, went to a Titans game. Great stuff. What's up, John? And it's fantastic. And it's a quick flight from here too. So it's like, I'm happy. We're all happy. It works for me. It works for everybody. So shout out to Nashville. Straight down from here, pretty much. Real quick flight. San Diego, however, not a quick flight. That's a hike from here. It's about 5 hours or so, I think. Just under 5 in the air. One of the longest domestic flight, not domestic, but Canada, U.S. flights I think you can do. I wonder if Vancouver to maybe Miami, if that's direct. Yeah, I'm not sure. Brant says, my coworker and I were both engaged during Marketing United, so we bought sashes and hit up Broadway after the sessions were over. That's good. Did you go on the woo bikes? The pedal bars where everybody's like, woo. We were just in Pittsburgh, too. Myself and our two oldest, Aiden and Owen, for Owen's 21st birthday. He's a Steelers fan. So we went to Pittsburgh and went to a Steelers-Lions preseason game, and I'm obviously the Lions fan. Lions lost, so whatever. But it was great. Ingrid, when is your European tour coming up, Scott? I don't do tours. That's for sure. But I get booked. I come. I did Rome a while ago with like 5 weeks notice, which was crazy good. It's funny. I love my bureau, Vayner Speakers. It's great. It's like, so the industry, with the speaking industry, a lot of times is they'll put holds on things, right? So an event inquires and says, hey, are you available for this date? What's your fee, et cetera, et cetera. And we're like, here's the fee, blah, blah, blah. Would you like us to put a hold on it? And we put a hold. And what a hold is, for at least in my end of the business, is it reserves the date. Now, there's no obligation on it. But if another client comes in and says, hey, are you available for this date? There's a hold on it. So what we tell them is there's a hold on it right now. But if you make an offer, the first client has 24 hours or 48 hours, whatever, to confirm the event or pull it and walk away. And so what happens is sometimes you get a calendar full of holds, whether it's a bureau or direct, whatever it is, and it kind of fills up your calendar, but you realize none of them are money. None of them are confirmed, and nothing is confirmed, as we've learned in the past couple of years, until you've actually done the gig. And with Vayner Speakers, they just send me an offer. No hold, just like, hey, here's an offer on this date. I love it. It's great. It takes out a lot of the pre-stuff, and also it's like almost like an artificial popular calendar. This is one of the things that I like about Vayner. They just throw it in there, which is great. And yeah, and the fall's I'm happy with this fall and how it's going to go. And we're just going to kind of keep going and doing what we're doing. I enjoy it continually. I enjoy this stuff. So yeah, and one of the thoughts right now is to think about doing something weekly on here, so it's more of a consistent time that everybody kind of comes at a certain time if they want to come and watch. And it depends on the day. So it depends on how I'm doing, depends on how things are doing here. Although there's less people in this house now that school started. But we got to make it work, right? You got to be passionate behind stuff. You got to be ready to go. You got to be ready to talk into this camera like you're talking to nobody or 1,000 people. And that's one of the things that, if I'm going to give you any of a kind of a parting tip today, is when you're on a call, not just doing a live or anything, but if you're on a call, look into the camera. This is hard to do, and I'm not being facetious here. I'm honestly, because you're not looking at the person you're talking to, because you're looking into the camera. Now you can do a whole thing where you can put the video over the camera and I'm talking directly and I'm looking at the camera, but like my monitor's over here. So I have to look this way to see chat and everything else. But understand, when you're engaging with the lens like this, people feel you're talking to them, because I am talking to you, like right now, watching this, wherever you're watching this right now. That's who I'm talking to. And, you don't want to make it weird. If you go even more forward, it gets kind of creepy. But, you know what I mean? You got to engage with that camera and be able to connect, even though you can't connect. So it's weird, because what happens if everybody's looking into a lens and nobody's looking at each other? It's kind of artificial. But anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out today. Keeps my gears going. Keeps moving. Good seeing you. Thank you, Brian, for contributing. Ingrid, good seeing you as well. Chris, Tim, Andrew, Paula. Thank you all. And Jason, appreciate you all dropping in and saying, hey, we'll keep on going. Be kind to everybody else, including yourself. Take care, everybody.